I don't know how long it's going to be. I think it's until we resolve the citation in court.
So why are you gonna be here after hours tonight?
I personally just can't believe that we have to be doing this. I mean, I just want to know when education stopped being a priority. I mean, education is the way to support the future, to fund the future. A strong education is the backbone of a strong economy, and without it, we can't move forward to solve the problems that we're facing now. I mean, we won't be able to solve the problems that we're facing in the future if we keep doing things like this, cutting time from public schools, cutting money from the university, which is still going on. I mean, it's just going to create more of a mess than we're already in.
I don't think anybody's going to deny that education isn't important, but is this issue that important that it's worth getting arrested over?
Yes. It's the future. I mean, if we don't fight for the future, it's just going to...
What do we have?
Yeah, what's going to happen? You know, it's all going to go to shit.
But we can't actually use that. Let me ask you that question one more time. We'll try that again. Education's important. Is it worth getting arrested over?
Yes, I mean, education is worth getting arrested for because the future is so important, and if we don't fight for our education, we're not fighting for the future.
Okay. Have you seen any movement that give you hope? You know, I mean, the governor came up from 50 million to 62 million. Do you think HSTA needs to do a little bit more? What's your thoughts there?
Well, I definitely think that there needs to be some restructuring of the education system because there are certain students that don't get the attention that they need, and there are lots of problems within the education system itself. I mean, that's why we need to stop doing these furloughs and focus more on getting more funding to schools and more time and more energy into making the future better for everyone.
But as far as HSTA, do you think there's any leeway for them to, you know, make some movement in negotiations?
I'm not too familiar with the HSTA issue, but
they're proposing $92 million to bring back everybody. Do you think there's some wiggle room there between HSTA and the governor?
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I mean, we just need to fund, end Furlough Fridays and fund the future.
Can you say your name, please?
Michael Doyle, M-I-C-H-A-E-L-D-O-Y-L-E.
Are you a student?
I'm a student at UH West Oahu, majoring in political science. I live in Makakilo.
I take it you're not a parent.
No.
Not yet. Yeah. You're not a parent. So is there any parent here that's going to risk arrest today, tonight?
Claire? Claire?
Yeah.
Not tonight.
I'm sorry?
Are you going to risk arrest tonight? They were asking if there's any
No,
parents.
No. I kind of promised my husband that I would.
We're reviewing the law right here. Just give us a minute.
Marriage, schools, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just reading up on the law, which I should have done this weekend. No, probably not. But I applaud anyone who does. We have legal counsel.
Thank you.
Here.
That's why you going to
Get too philosophical. Yes.
No.
You giggle every time somebody else does.
Mr. Dora, how old are you?
21.
You undergrad.
Hopefully I'll be finished next spring.
Well, congrats if you did. Well, I'm sure you will. That's one last question. Obviously,
Either next spring or next fall, but hopefully this spring.
The sound guy was all about that.
I mean, I didn't know what else to say.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, you're me.
I'm not afraid of
So you understand?
Oh, That's why I say exactly. Yeah, exactly.
First name is I-N-G-E-R?
Yes, but it's pronounced Inga. That's why perhaps more kids. Okay.
I'm not afraid of being That's what it takes to draw attention.
They're all friends. 39. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You know, I have to. Are you going to get to the line?
I don't think so.
Actually, I think I have time for a minute. Your parents for, have you ever done anything like this back in your younger years?
No, not to this extent. I've been involved politically, but I actually only became a citizen last year. So I feel like now I have a greater voice as a citizen.
Last session.
But you've been involved politically, but you haven't done sit-ins.
Nothing like that. Oh, absolutely not. No. But I've only lived here for 2 years. I used to live in Boston. There wasn't the need to do something. You know, for example, Boston really supports public education. Massachusetts does. So to come to a state that really I have seen doesn't support public education, to me it's an obvious thing to support. And that's why I've done it. Education is so obvious. We must support public education. So that's why we've devoted all this time and energy, and I brought my children and they understand too.
The question I asked about, how much have you all learned?
Right.
It's not usual that who aren't involved in some organization,
Yes.
Thank you very much. Whatever it is, it does very much.
Right.
So, I know you're saying that education is important.
It's my children and it's our children. Yeah.
Beyond that,
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a little bit. It sounds. Everybody says that. Everybody's more educated.
Yeah, but cut 17 days off of a school year, 10% of education, when the other 49 states haven't resorted to such drastic measures, that's what did it to me. And what made me have a second wind in all of this, because we've been doing this for 6 months, is when they released that next school calendar for next year, saying this is going to happen all over again, that's what got me mad. I'm like, we've already massacred this year. We can't do this again. We can't.
So
It's acting like a baby.
you've been involved in Sabre School for a few months now?
Yeah, from the beginning, from when it started, from October, yeah.
And so when you saw that it may happen again next year, which was always the plan, by the way.
It was always the plan, but I don't think we ever believed it. You know, we were fighting, and we were fighting for this year. None of us, I think, truly believed that it would go on for next year, especially because you've got to remember the governor came back, what was it, in November or December, saying, oh, there will be no furloughs after, and I'll be honest, they can't give me the extra detail, but it was early in the year. In January, she said, okay, as of January, there will be no more furloughs. And then, boom, you know, the situation stalled all of a sudden for the next 4 months. So that's why we weren't thinking beyond, because she was the one who came back and said, okay, it wasn't a good idea. She proposed it, came back, said it wasn't a good idea, so we didn't think it would go on.
And you agree with the general thought here that she's really the sticking point here as opposed to HSTA?
You know, she's our governor. She's the leader. She's the top protocol, so to speak. So yeah, absolutely, she's the leader. She's never here. We keep looking for her. But honestly, I'm actually not interested in all of the analysis. It's been very time-consuming for us. I'm just interested in the governor who supports education and who sees the outrageousness of this situation as it is. And honestly, when the Secretary of Education, Arnie came here and really put this in the spotlight, I thought she would have reacted and, you know, quickly put an end to this. But not even that managed to spur things along.
Right now.
So.